Hi, how are you? My name is Houston and we are back with another video. I hope that you've been doing well since the last video. I have just been working a couple more water connections. Tomorrow, actually, I have the last water connection. So super excited about that. That's been a long time coming on the job that I'm on. It's nice when you have all these things lined up on a job and you finally get done with the ones that really are just the biggest pain in the ass, and water shutdowns are always that. But hey, we're not at work, we're playing video games. I love video games, especially FPSs, especially shooters made by Activision and surrounding studios. Honestly, man, I don't know, I just pick a bunch of random stuff. I'm playing hardcore anyway, it doesn't really matter as long as I have enough bullets in the mag to just like spray my ass off, and then I can move at a kind of fast pace. Then that's really all that matters. I don't play this game anymore. I bought this skin. I spent more money on this game. I just said I don't play it, but I spent money on it. They got me. Just chokehold. Undertaker. Boom. Done. Gone. Finished. After I finished Hades, I went on to Blasphemous 2, which is really, really cool. But I think part of me was just a little exhausted with the whole Metroidvania play style. I mean, I say that, but last night I literally played it. I've been going back and forth between Blasphemous 2 and Dragon Quest 11. There's something about Dragon Quest that really rekindles that childlike wonder in me for video games, because I think when I had Xbox, or maybe at some point when I got a PS2 for a very small amount of time, I played Dragon Quest 8, and Dragon Quest 8 was like, it was sort of like open world with an, not open world, I guess, but it was like, it had like an overworld, like very JRPG like, where you would be out in the world and you would run into these enemies, but then you would also go into towns and stuff like that, and you'd interact and you'd have side quests in there. I just always loved the JRPG formula, you know, like that meme where it's like, yeah, the first quest in a JRPG game, it's like you find somebody's dog, and then the last quest is like you kill God. It was always fun for me to explore those worlds that were created. And Dragon Quest is really cool too, because it's made by Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball Kai, you know, all the Dragon Ball games. So the games all have that, you know, very distinct, recognizable design to them, from the characters to like the vehicles to, you know, the weapons, everything. You're like, wait, is that a character from Dragon Ball, or is that its own game? And it is in fact its own game. It just, Akira Toriyama just kind of has same face syndrome when it comes to designing things, which is really cool if you want everybody to know that you made that stuff. But to some people, they might not like it because they're like, oh, well, am I even playing a different game, or am I playing, you know, Dragon Ball Z? Oh my God, I'm going fucking X Games mode. Holy. Yeah, Dragon Quest 11 is really cool. It's actually a game that I bought like 2.5 years ago, I think, like right when it came out. And then I'm pretty sure Call of Duty came out, or I got wrapped up in some other game and I played like 20 minutes of it, and then I just got off and I never went back to it. But now, because I'm in this really big single player era of my life, I am revisiting it. It's cool because it included the outfit from Dragon Quest 8, so you could put that outfit on your character, which I thought was really cool. So it really just struck that nostalgic chord in me that I was referring to earlier. I haven't played this game for a minute, but you know, I'm kind of shooting straight. Sometimes it just never goes away, and now I'm just dying over and over again, so whatever. And just like Blasphemous 1, Blasphemous 2 is cool as well. It's such a weird game, and it's kind of hard to describe because it's creepy, but it's very sincere in its inspirations and how it draws from like Spanish history and Gothic history, and especially religion. And I talked about that a lot in my backlogged review that I made for the game. The only thing that's bad about going back and forth between single player games is that it's not like you can just hop on a game. Like, I could go from this to Counter-Strike to Valorant and I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, they're just all FPSs. Like, I know how to play. It's super simple. But when it comes to story games, you know, you have this whole entire world and like all this lore and backstories and all that you have to remember. So what I was kind of falling victim to when it came to Blasphemous is that I'd be like, oh yeah, I totally remember what's going on. But the way that the game is set up and the way that the map is laid out, it's like, dude, you just forget where you are. You forget where you were doing. It's like, okay, did I kill that one boss? Did I kill another boss? It's like, it's just very difficult to not play the game for a while and then hop right back on it and just assume that you know what's going on. The same exact thing goes for, you know, like a Souls game, for instance. I mean, if you've ever played those games and you've taken a break from one for whatever reason, then you know exactly what that's like, where you will have defeated a boss and you're like, oh, okay, I'm done playing for today. And then fast forward like however many months or even weeks, and yeah, you just won't remember anything. It's like when your friend is, wow, 205, Jesus. It's like when your friend, like the Xbox 360 days, it's like, yeah, man, I'll see you tomorrow. Last online 9,000 days ago. And then going back to Dragon Quest, I feel like one reason that even though Toriyama has that same face syndrome, and I don't read the manga, like not Dragon Quest manga, but the Dragon Ball Super manga, I feel like those characters just hold a special place in my heart because Dragon Ball Z was the first anime I ever watched when I was like 7 or 8 years old. I think, yeah, I was in daycare and one of the older kids was watching it, and I'm like, damn, all these like buff dudes just like fighting each other. That guy's hair just turned yellow when he screamed for 10 minutes straight and 10 episodes straight. Like, I mean, that's insane. This is the best show ever made. So I see those characters and they just like, again, they rekindle that like childlike wonder in me. I feel like there are a lot of things like that for everyone, but they just don't realize it. Like, how often have you ever taken a step back and thought of the things that you really enjoy and then tried to trace those things back and fully understand why they bring you joy? And maybe it's just, oh, well, I don't know, it just makes me happy. Like, that might be your first answer. But then if you kind of do the thing that 5-year-olds do, where you're just like, well, why does it make you happy? Or what part about it makes you happy? Or, you know, just do the why thing. Like, why is the sky blue? Oh, well, you know, the light particles scatter and blue's the only thing that's left in the spectrum, or I'm pretty sure that's it. And, you know, if you don't want to think about the things you like that way, that's totally fine too, because, you know, if you like them, you like them, and maybe that's a good enough reason for you. I just think it's pretty interesting to maybe follow that train of thought every once in a while. And the reason I bring up that whole style thing with Toriyama when it comes to his characters is because recently some trailers and previews have come out from Sung-Hoo Park's new anime, not Golden Kamuy, God, Ninja Kamuy. And that show is like very much him. If you don't know who Sung-Hoo Park is, he directed the first season of Jujutsu Kaisen and the Jujutsu Kaisen Zero movie. He not only directed it, but I'm pretty sure he helped storyboard certain episodes and certain cuts, and he also did a bunch of key animation. And he's this master of action and like so much dynamism. Is that a word? Like he's very dynamic in the way that he animates. And if you're a fan of like hand-to-hand combat, then I think that you would absolutely love anything that he creates. The way that he fuses kung fu and really just anything that has to do with like melee weapons, especially whether it's the fists, swords, knives, whatever. He just really has a special way of bringing characters and scenes to life. All that to say, I'm super excited to watch Ninja Kamuy when it comes out, because I think a lot of us who are fans of animation, we're just waiting on whatever Park was going to do after he left MAPPA and decided to do his own thing at his own studio. It's pretty crazy. There are so many series coming to an end, whether it be the seasonal anime or even series themselves. Like My Hero is about to end. The manga Jujutsu Kaisen is going to end this year. It seems like Chainsaw Man might end this year. I don't know. It's going to be weird because he's got this like slow burn that he's doing right now in the manga. There are just some insane moments where things are really ramping up, and you're like, oh, okay, like the big chapter is coming, where there are some crazy reveals, or like, you know, somebody's dying, or something big is gonna happen. That series is so good though, and I've honestly really enjoyed where Jujutsu Kaisen has gone as well. I mean, I'm not going to talk about anything spoiler related, just because if that series got spoiled for me, I would be just so disappointed, which is the reason I started reading it. Like, and, you know, even if those series are ending, I found a lot of solace, a lot of happiness in reading Berserk and Sakamoto Days. And I still need to read Vagabond too. So, you know, there's no shortage of good series to read. You just got to find them. And I mean, it's not difficult to find the series that I just mentioned, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. Sakamoto Days, I mean, I don't really see a lot of people talking about that. I think a lot of it is because it doesn't have an anime adaptation, which is honestly surprising. Because right off the bat, I think the premise is really, really good. And I think that it could easily get an adaptation. It would just have to be the right one, you know? It'd have to have like the right staff on it. And I mean, just not suck, man. There are so many shows being made right now. And honestly, like kind of fatigued by it. Because if there are so many shows being made and the quality drops as much as it has with certain shows, then or certain series, then I really just don't think the show should be made. If the staff can't be in good working conditions, get paid well, and you know, everything else that comes with it, then like I don't want the show to be made. Like I don't want this great series to be made if the people who are making it are miserable. I don't care how much I love the series. Oh, I totally forgot about Vinland too. There's a deluxe version of Vinland coming out, the manga, and I think I'm gonna buy it because I don't have Vinland in physical yet. I mean, it's just the GOAT, man. It's the greatest thing ever made. I love it. The last chapter that came out for Vinland made me cry. I think that series has made me cry more than any other piece of media, to be honest. It's too good. It's simply peak. Yeah, I mean, other than working and reading manga and all that, I mean, finally looked up a date for the ultra marathon that I want to do. It's in September. Trying to put together a training plan for that right now. I mean, I'm still running, I'm still working out, I'm still doing all the things that I normally do, but I feel like for this, I really need to like do an actual training block, like a legitimate plan, because I think that will help me stay on track. Everything that has to do with like speed runs and or tempos, whatever, and anaerobic threshold workouts, and then the long runs, recovery runs. Like I really need to listen to my body if I want to be able to do this, because originally I thought that I wanted to do a 50 kilometer, which is like 36 miles, but I think for my first ultra I'm gonna try and do a 50 miler. I know that's a lot, but I feel like from now to September I have plenty of time to train for that, especially because of the base that I already have. I think that dialing in my training and getting all my nutrition right are the main things. Well, I mean, I guess those are the main things no matter what, right? But obviously discipline plays a huge part in it. You know, being able to show up and do the work, go out there, keep running, even on the days when it's pouring down rain sideways or freezing cold. And luckily winter's over, which is why I chose the date that I did, so I can train throughout the spring and the summer and really put those miles in, put those hours in, because I want to do my first ultra and I want to maybe get a sub 3-hour marathon this year. It's a long process, but you got to enjoy it. You got to enjoy the climb. I enjoyed catching up with you. Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody in your life is treating you well, and I hope you are doing the same for them. I appreciate all the love. Thank you for showing up, and I'll see you on the next one.